Let's get started with our first news. Khamzat Chimaev is facing major backlash, and not just from fans or other fighters, but from his own people. The controversy, what many are calling deeply disrespectful behavior that has crossed both professional and cultural boundaries. At the center of it all is Paulo Costa, who's been turning up the heat on Khamzat, and according to him, things have now gone way beyond standard fight promo or trash talk. This feud is officially personal. Costa had previously hinted that something inappropriate happened behind the scenes, that Khamzat had crossed a line by privately messaging his wife, but now he's put the full story out in the open. In a recent interview, Costa revealed the actual contents of those messages, and what he shared has sent shockwaves through the MMA community. According to Costa, Khamzat messaged his wife directly, telling her to get a better man, and followed up with a string of messages that Costa described as absolutely crazy. It wasn't just one or two harmless jabs. These were calculated messages aimed at insulting Costa on a deeply personal level, and the consequences are growing, especially in Khamzat's own homeland. See, Khamzat is from the Caucasus region, a place with a very strict cultural code. There, things like pride, honor, and respect, especially toward family, are sacred. And when someone crosses that line, it's not just seen as rude, it's seen as a serious violation. Messaging another man's wife in secret, trying to humiliate him in that way, that's not just a cheap move, it's viewed as completely out of line. This is why Khamzat isn't just getting heat from fans on Twitter or critics in the MMA media. He's reportedly facing serious backlash from his own people in Chechnya, in a culture where issues are supposed to be handled face-to-face, man-to-man. What Khamzat did is being seen as weak, cowardly, and massively disrespectful, and now that backlash is reaching his doorstep. As for Costa, he's not backing down. In fact, he's more fired up than ever. He says he's locked in, fully focused, and ready to unleash the wild, reckless version of himself that fans fell in love with. The swing and bang Paulo Costa from the early days. This weekend he faces Roman Kopylov, and he's vowing to dominate. And after that, he says he's coming for Khamzat directly. No more tweets, no more subtweets, no more back and forth through the media. He wants a real fight, and he wants it next. Right now, many fans aren't even paying attention to Costa. He's been out of the spotlight for a while, but one big performance could flip that switch. If he shows up like the old Paulo, the one who made waves in the UFC middleweight division, he could force the fight world to pay attention again. As Costa put it, doesn't matter if he wins his fight or not, doesn't matter, we need to fight. He said very bad things to my girl in Instagram DMs, so this is totally personal. I feel angry just hearing his name. I'm pretty sure I'm gonna get the victory, and I'm gonna call his name, doesn't matter if he win or not. When asked what Khamzat actually said, Costa didn't hold back. Yeah, dirt things, you know, like, yeah, you should look for better man, something like that, dirt things. This is not something a real man, a confident man would do. Why message her? Why not message me instead of her? You know, this drama isn't just about ego anymore, it's about respect. And if these two do end up fighting, it's gonna be personal, explosive, and absolutely unmissable. Moving on to another huge topic that's got everyone in the MMA world talking. Kamaru, Usman, and Henry Cejudo are now openly doubting whether Dustin Poirier is really going to retire after UFC 318, and their doubts have sparked an interesting conversation. According to both of them, Dustin's retirement announcement might not be as final as it seems, especially if he loses this weekend. Now keep in mind, the UFC has been promoting this card heavily as Dustin's last dance. They've rolled out the farewell narrative in full force. Highlight reels, emotional quotes, interviews, and all the sentimental packaging that makes you believe this is the end of the road. But as Cejudo and Usman suggest, it might not be that simple. And honestly, they might be onto something. Because realistically, if Dustin goes in there and beats Max Holloway, especially in convincing fashion, how does he just walk away? That kind of win immediately catapults him back into title contention. And at the top of the division right now is Ilia Topuria, the newly crowned lightweight champ who is absolutely red hot at the moment. Topuria brings not only skill and hype, but major star power. A fight between Poirier and Topuria would be massive. We're not just talking about another main event, we're talking about a championship fight, a legacy moment, a potential Cinderella ending to Dustin's long, hard-fought career, and of course, a massive payday. For any fighter, especially one who's been in the game as long as Dustin, that's a hard opportunity to turn down. So if Dustin does manage to get past Holloway, there's a very real chance he stays in. That door to retirement? It may not close just yet. But let's flip it. Let's say he loses. Will he still retire? That's what Cejudo and Usman are doubting the most, because when you've been fighting at the top for so long, it's tough to just step away after a defeat. There's always that feeling that you've got one more left, and for a warrior like Poirier, who's always been a dog in the cage, it might be nearly impossible to hang it up on a loss.
Cejudo gave his take. If a guy like Max Holloway gets it done, I don't think Dustin will say goodbye, bro. I just don't. I could be wrong, but I just don't see it happening.
Then came the kicker. Someone asked, how truthful do you think Dustin is when he says he's done? Siegmund couldn't help but laugh. Well, he said, look at me, how many times did I retire? It's a fair point. In this sport, retirement is rarely permanent. We've seen countless fighters walk away only to be lured back by one more fight, one more payday, or one more shot at greatness. So, will UFC 318 be the final chapter in Dustin Poirier's legendary career, or just another page in a story that's not quite finished? Only time will tell. Next up, big news. Jon Jones is talking about fighting on the UFC White House card. After vacating the heavyweight title and stepping away from the sport, Jones is making a shock return. He's back in the UFC's testing pool, right on the heels of US President Donald Trump announcing a UFC event at the White House. While fans initially met Jones's announcement with skepticism, Dana White confirmed that Jones is officially back in the pool. In a surprise airport interview with a TikTok user, Jones dropped some major insight. He said, "I can't promise anyone anything, but I have a very strong feeling that I'll be on that card. I want to take on whoever's holding the belt at the end of the year." As of right now, that champion is Tom Espinal, but Jones left it open. We'll see who the champion is at the end of the year. If it's an American guy fighting for the championship that night, I'd be willing to put it all on the line one more time. And based on what Dana White said last week, it sounds like there's a very real chance that we might get both Jon Jones and Conor McGregor fighting on that same card. And speaking of McGregor, we got breaking news from him as well. Last night, the Schmo dropped an exclusive interview with Conor McGregor. During the chat, McGregor confirmed that he is in the testing pool and fully intends to fight on the White House card alongside Jones. He said, "Things are going great." The White House, Dana White said, "You and Jon Jones, that's the real deal. I'm going home. I'm going to get the head down. I'm going to rest. They're testing me. I'm in the pool." I said, "You guys, man, I thought that's what pools are for, jumping in and out, but I'm back in the pool. So get ready and stay ready because Damig will be done." Oval Office. Then at the ESPN Awards show, the ESPN's Jon Jones took the stage and addressed his return again. He said, "I was retired. I felt like I had done it all in the MMA space. I wanted something more than championships and money." And then Donald Trump mentioned he wanted to do a fight at the White House Garden. That just seemed like such a huge opportunity. I'm a proud American. I have a lot of friends in the military. This isn't quite service, but to be able to entertain the country at the White House, that means the world to me. So I'm back. And right before announcing the ESPY for Comeback Athlete of the Year, Jones made it even more official. Someone shouted, "Did you just retire, Jon?" He laughed and said, "I sure did." Then added, "But did I mean it? I did at the time. But everyone loves a good comeback, right?" So, right now, all signs are pointing to both Conor McGregor and Jon Jones returning to fight on this White House card. Let us know in the comments, what are your thoughts on this potential mega event? Now, let's talk about Arman Tsarukyan and his bold plan to gas out and out-wrestle Ilia Topuria, the newly crowned lightweight champion. Arman didn't mince words following Ilia's devastating knockout victory over Charles Oliveira at UFC 3. While the MMA world was busy praising El Matador's elite striking and calm demeanor, Arman came forward with a different narrative, one that challenges Ilia's overall completeness as a fighter. According to Arman, Topuria struggles under sustained pressure and begins to fade when he's forced into clinch exchanges or grueling grappling scenarios. Arman claims that Ilia lacks high-level ground skills and confidently stated that both he and Islam Makhachev would easily hold Ilia down and neutralize his offense. He even teased parts of his game plan, emphasizing his intent to drag Ilia into deep waters, sap his energy, and dominate him with relentless wrestling. Arman made it clear he believes Ilia is dangerous on the feet, but vulnerable on the mat. This rivalry isn't just heating up, it's been brewing for a long time. Both fighters have taken subtle shots at each other in the past, but now that Ilia holds the belt, the tension has reached a boiling point. Stylistically, this is one of the most compelling matchups in the lightweight division. Arman brings high-paced pressure, superior cardio, and a deep wrestling base, while Ilia wields surgical boxing knockout power and remarkable composure. It's a classic striker versus grappler matchup, but with modern, well-rounded fighters who both bring elite skills to the table. Unfortunately, politics might be delaying this showdown. UFC President Dana White and the UFC brass haven't forgotten Arman's previous fallout when he pulled out of a scheduled main event against Islam Makhachev. That decision caused frustration within the promotion, and it's one of the main reasons Arman isn't already locked in for a title shot. But make no mistake, if Arman picks up another big win, especially against a top contender, he'll be impossible to ignore. In a recent interview, Arman gave Ilia his flowers, but also laid out the roadmap to beat him. He's a very good boxer, Arman admitted. He hits extremely hard, his punches are clean, he doesn't rush things, he waits for the perfect shot and stays calm even when he gets hit. His fight IQ is high, that's rare. But then came the critique. In clinches, he fades. That's where I'll break him. He hasn't fought top-tier wrestlers. Bryce Mitchell took him down, and Bryce isn't even elite in that department. Imagine what someone like Islam or me could do. We'll control him and take his strengths away. Whether or not this fight happens next, it feels like it's only a matter of time. The build-up is there. The styles clash perfectly. And with both men in their prime, a Topuria versus Tsarukyan showdown could be one of the most anticipated fights of the year. Move on to second news. Conor McGregor reveals his UFC return. Last night, the Schmo dropped an exclusive interview with Conor McGregor. During that interview, McGregor confirmed David Feldman's earlier reports. Yes, he is in the USADA testing pool, and yes, he wants to fight on the UFC White House card alongside Jon Jones. Before walking away, Conor told the Schmo, "Things are going great. The White House. Dana White said, you and Jon Jones, that's a real deal. I'm going home. I'm going to get the head down. I'm going to rest. They're testing me. I'm in the pool." Then he added something only Conor McGregor would say. "I says, you guys, man, I thought that's what the pools are for. Jumping in and out. But I'm back in the pool, so get ready and stay ready, cause Damon will be done." Then he grinned and said just 2 words, Oval Office. You could feel the confidence. Also last night, the ESPN award show, the ESPs, was held, and Jon Jones made an appearance. He spoke about his return to the octagon, and he made it clear that retirement is no longer his path. Jones explained that he was actually okay with walking away from the sport until Donald Trump revealed the plan for a UFC card at the White House. That announcement sparked something in him. He said, "I was retired. I felt like I was at a place where I had done it all in MMA. There weren't too many more challenges left, and I wanted to do something bigger than just championships and money." But then came the twist. Donald Trump mentioned that he wanted to have a fight at the White House garden, and that just seems like such a huge opportunity. I'm a very proud American. I have close friends who are in the military. This is my act? Well, I can't call it service, but to be able to entertain the country and the world at this level, at the White House, it just means the world to me. So I'm back. Then came one of the most iconic moments of the night. Jon Jones was the presenter for the ESPN's Comeback Athlete of the Year award. Before announcing the winner, he looked around, smiled, and said, "Did you just retire, Jon?" He paused. "I sure did. No." Then he added, "But did you mean it?" He replied, "I did at the time, but I do know that everyone loves a good comeback, right guys?" That moment got the entire crowd buzzing. And now, all signs are pointing toward Conor McGregor and Jon Jones returning to fight on the same card at one of the most historic venues ever imagined. What do you think about all this? Will McGregor finally make that long-awaited return? Will Jon Jones step into the octagon one last time under the White House lights? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. And finally, in some unfortunate news for fight fans, UFC President Dana White has officially announced the cancellation of a highly anticipated bout that was scheduled for UFC Vegas 10 on August 2nd. Featherweight prospect Francis Marshall was slated to face rising contender Austin Bashi, but those plans have been derailed due to injury. According to reports, Marshall suffered a rib injury during training camp that has forced him to withdraw from the event. While injuries in MMA are nothing new, this one stings a little extra. The matchup between Marshall and Bashi was seen as a potential fight of the night candidate. Both fighters are known for their aggressive styles and non-stop pace, and fans were looking forward to seeing how the explosive striking of Bashi would stack up against the grinding wrestling and well-rounded skill set of Marshall. Unfortunately, as of now, no replacement opponent has been named for Austin Bashi. UFC officials are reportedly still evaluating their options, but the short notice makes it tough. With the event just a couple of weeks away, finding a suitable fighter who is both ready and licensed to compete is a major challenge. This cancellation is also a setback for both men's momentum. Francis Marshall was hoping to bounce back from a previous loss and remind fans why he was considered one of the top prospects in the featherweight division. Meanwhile, Bashi, who has been on a solid win streak, was looking to make a statement win that could potentially catapult him into the UFC rankings. It's also worth noting how injuries like this affect more than just the fighters. Fight cancellations disrupt the entire event structure, affect marketing, change fan expectations, and can hurt the overall excitement for the card. While the UFC does have backup plans in place for most pay-per-view events, fight night cards like UFC Vegas 1008 don't always have the same flexibility. That's why this one ended up being scrapped rather than replaced immediately. Dana White has not confirmed if Bashi will remain on the card or be rescheduled for a future date. There's always the possibility that the UFC finds a last-minute replacement, but time is running out. So the big question now is, who should step in to face Austin Bashi? Should the UFC give an opportunity to a newcomer looking to break into the big leagues? Or maybe a short-notice veteran who's always ready to go? Drop your picks in the comments below and let us know who you think could keep the fight alive. Whether it's a rising contender, a returning fan favorite, or an under-the-radar beast, we want to hear your thoughts.